Hi everybody, this is Barbara Drazga, aka the Deal Diva, and this is the Cliff Note version of my coffee chat this morning with Dan Meadors. I'm sorry, I did not hit the record button, so I now have a big post-it note on my monitor to hit record anytime I do a webinar, so it's definitely a fail, but that's okay because I'm going to cycle back around here. We're doing this Cliff Notes version. I wrote out all of the notes that I took during that webinar and truncated them into this whole video. So let me just get started here. Dan Meadors and I this morning just had a kind of an impromptu webinar chat to discuss 2016. You know, I survived Q4 2016, and what do we do now to close things out for 2016 as Amazon FBA sellers, and what do we need to think about moving forward into 2017. So let me just get started here. So Dan shared how to transition from 2016 to 2017 in terms of just kind of the accounting side of it. Now, we're not accountants and we don't play one on television, but we want to just give some ideas for you to ask your accountant or your CPA. Which brings us to the very first thing you do is get a CPA now. Like, get one now, hire one now. Then you want to talk to that CPA about your tax strategy before the end of the year. Be sure in your Amazon account you take screenshots on December 31st at 11:59 p.m. or 58 p.m. as late as you can of your Amazon receivables, which will show what Amazon owes you. Take a screenshot of your 2016 sales, of your credit card statements, your bank accounts, anything that your CPA is going to need to do your planning for you and to take care of your taxes. You also want to ask your CPA how you can look for bonus depreciation opportunities. And Dan mentioned Section 179. So go do some research for that on that, and also talk to your CPA about what that means. Maximize your donations before the end of the year. Also, take a hard look at your poor performing inventory and decide what to do with it. And you might have to bite the bullet and just liquidate stuff at a loss in order to get it off your books, and also in order to free up some of the capital that has been sitting there. Take advantage of any donation tax breaks you might get, and keep yourself from having to pay future Amazon fees if it's sitting in your Amazon inventory. So just take a hard look at your non-performing or your poor-performing inventory and make a decision what to do with it, and then implement. Don't hang on to arbitrary inventory. Just cut your losses. Start fresh in 2017 with a clean slate. Cut your losses, bite the bullet, and any other sayings that you can apply to that, and just make it happen. Discuss tax deferment strategies with your CPA, and make business infrastructure purchases before December 31st. So if you've been holding off getting, a Dymo printer or having a spare laser printer or anything else that you would use, a cell phone that you would use with your business, a tablet, anything, go ahead and make those purchases before December 31st. So again, I just wanted to caveat, we're not tax professionals, and you should check with your CPA on all of those above points and more. So the next thing that Dan and I talked about was moving forward into 2017. And there's a lot of talk about goal setting come January every year, but I highly recommend, yes, creating goals for the year, but also creating goals and modifying those goals throughout the year, because things change and you might be adding goals or deleting goals as things come up throughout the year. But initially, you just want to start with a time of reflection. Towards the end of this year, just take a day, if you can take a day, if you can do a retreat for a couple of days, whether it's alone or if you have a team, with your team, and just get out of your normal environment and get into a space where you can relax, think about what you want your life to look like and what you want your business to look like, and get really clear on that vision. And then you want to start thinking about how to reverse engineer that into monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. So it's important to change your physical state. If you sit in your home office or wherever you normally work and you try to do this, it's probably going to be a lot harder. So you want to physically change your state. Get up. If you're normally used to sitting, take a walk. Go to the gym. For me, I go to Starbucks, I put on a certain music set, and I put the earphones on, and I get a coffee, and there's movement around me, but I can't hear it, and I like that energy, just having that movement around me. And that just getting out of my normal home office just lets me focus on creative thinking and one particular task. So whatever works for you, get yourself in a physical space where you can reflect and write down what worked and what didn't work and why didn't it work, and then how can you improve on the things that didn't work or just stop doing them. And it's important. One of my pet peeves in the groups I shared on this webinar was there's a lot of complaining and stuff happens. We're business owners and we're in business and this is life and stuff happens. And there have been, a lot of things, a lot of changes with Amazon this year with the brand restrictions and the review restrictions, and there's probably more to come. So if you approach things that happen in your business with a victim mentality, oh, woe is me, why is Amazon doing this, I'll never make it, you're playing to lose. It all starts with your attitude. It all starts with your perspective. So we all got hit with brand restrictions, but some people found opportunities in the brand restrictions and found ways around them and found ways not to have those happen. If you're solution-oriented in your thinking, no matter what happens in your life or your business, no matter what happens, your brain will be trained to automatically look for how to move through it, get around it, solve the problem, solution-oriented versus victim mentality. So commit to yourself this year that you'll start, it's just a muscle. It's just it's a habit that you can build. So just start building that solution-oriented thinking, and it could have some serious changes, mean some serious good changes in your business when stuff happens, once you learn how to think in a different manner. So once you're clear on what you want to accomplish in 2017, then you want to reverse engineer it. So let's say you have 3 major projects or goals you want to accomplish, whether they be starting into a new sales channel or a certain amount of income from Amazon FBA, or do a round-the-world trip with your family, whatever that is. You want to break down each project into individual tasks and assign due dates. This is important. Assign a due date for each task, and then assign responsibility for each task. So ask yourself, which of these tasks can I outsource? Which ones can I give to a VA? How can I put some of this stuff up on Upwork and have other people bang the smaller things out for me? How can I hire someone to do the repetitive tasks or automate those tasks? So once you get clear on what you want to do, you want to reverse engineer that into smaller bite-sized pieces. Okay, the next thing we talked about was focus. So I recommended the book The One Thing, and I haven't finished listening to the whole thing yet. I've got it on Alexa in the background, but I downloaded the Audible version, and it's pretty powerful. And being an entrepreneur, I do get ADD. I do get that bright and shiny object syndrome, and it's my responsibility to pull myself back from that. And if I'm really clear on my goals and I have them written and I have them posted where I can see them multiple times throughout the day, then it's easier for me when I start feeling like chasing a bright and shiny object, it's easier for me to snap back to my goals. So go download or read The One Thing, and that might help you. It seems to be a book that's going to be, the concept in the book is about focusing on what's in front of you, basically. But he's much more eloquent in how he communicates how to do it. So one of the things that I've seen people do in the Facebook groups is they approach relationships, whether it be from a supplier or a guru in the industry or anybody else, with how can I manipulate them into getting them to do something for me. So with a supplier, you might be thinking, how can I manipulate them into selling to me? What one sentence do I add in my email, or what one catchphrase do I add to a conversation in order to get them to sell to me? So it's my personal belief that that's the wrong way to approach a relationship, any relationship. And a relationship should be approached with, how can I be of service to you? Knowing what you want to accomplish, that you want to carry that company's product. But coming at it from the sincere feeling of, Like, what are your pain points in your business, and how can I help you solve them? And maybe this is going to turn out into a bigger relationship that we can service your company and sell your products, and it will make money for us too. But let's start the conversation with, what are the things that you're struggling with, and how can we help? And approach every relationship from the mindset of service. And you know, there's a lot of people out there who pretend they'll approach a guru and say, what can I do for you? But really all they're waiting for, the conversation in their head is, in order to get what I want. If you can find a way to just come from your heart in relationships of any kind and say, look, you know, what can I do for you? How can I be of service? It opens up the doors to all sorts of cool opportunities that the universe is sort of, not to get too frou-frou, but it is a little bit. But that coming with a certain energy into your life will bring opportunities that you can't even imagine. So just think about having a mindset and a heart set of service as you approach 2017. So my goals for 2017 are to further deepen my relationships with current suppliers. I have some really good relationships, and I realize that I don't reach out to them as much as I should, saying, hey, what's going on right now in your business, and you know, what do you need? What can I do for you? Right now, some of my key suppliers will call me up and tell me that they're getting a shipment in before, or they're getting something in from China, or they're getting a container in before they contact their other suppliers. Or they'll call me and saying, Barbara, we've got this closeout that we just got. I'm giving you first dibs. And I bet I could, you know, there's probably more relationships out there that I could develop where I can help them move more product and get on their call list. So it's win-win. The other thing I want to focus on, I will be focusing on in 2017, is I'm going to explore additional sales channels for the same inventory I source for FBA. So I'm a student of Dan and Eric's The Wholesale Formula, and they teach a certain sourcing method called leaf sourcing. And I'm learning that I can use those same skill sets and that source product that I can also sell on different channels. And I can also develop private label products from that information. And that's the third thing that I'll explore this year, is using the same product research approach that I learned in the Wholesale Formula to develop out brands of my own. And that's my take on the brand restrictions, is to start building out brands of my own in 2017. So my goals, I have 3 main goals, which some smaller goals as well, but Dan's goal for 2017, and this is where we differ, is he's got one goal: to continue to build his FBA company, focusing even more on supplier relationships, product research, and teams system building. So he's doing an even better job than I am at the mindset of focusing on one thing. I've gotten my ADD down to focusing on 3 things from 20, but he and his team are laser focused on building their wholesale empire. So I have a great deal of respect for him, that he can actually focus on that one thing. Everybody's situation is different. So whatever works best for you, whether you're a single entrepreneur and you're operating just yourself, you don't have to have goals of $5 million in sales. I mean, you don't have to compete with the big boys if you don't want to have a warehouse. You don't want to scale up to that level. And you just want a lifestyle business that earns you twice what you would earn at a real job in your whatever your previous career was or career is, but working half the time. So your goals are your goals, and you shouldn't compare them with anybody else's. Whatever works best for you is what you should do. So some strategies we talked about on working on our goals are to roll out one project at a time. So everybody starts January 1 with all these great New Year's resolutions, which I personally don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in having goals year-round. And I'm not sure what the statistics are, but a really good percentage of people, they hit January 1 with, I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. I'm going to eat healthy. And then within a few weeks or a month, then they're no longer going to the gym, and they're no longer doing the things that they had. So I roll out one project at a time. And then this also applies into delving into a course. So I have a rule for myself. If I get a high-end course, I will work through that course before I get another course. Otherwise, I'm just stacked up with courses on my shelf, and they don't get watched or implemented. So I delve into one course at a time, and then I implement as I work through the course to the end. And then I might go through the course, depending on how much is in there. Maybe it's a section I wasn't ready for. I'll cycle back around. But I roll out one project at a time, and I implement as I go. Then as I work through a project, I develop systems for that project. I figure out what parts of the system I can automate, and then I outsource what's left. And then I can boilerplate those systems maybe to other projects if I needed to. So I also think that working on extracting yourself from the day-to-day operations of your business is important. Dan said he and Eric work maybe 10 hours a week on the business, and then they do other things with their time. So build a mastermind group. That's also important. And that can include a small number of just like-minded people who will hold your feet to the fire. They could be fellow FBA sellers to share SKUs. They could be non-online sellers who have other businesses, just local business owners who understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur and the challenges that, you can talk about the challenges so you don't feel like you're working in a bubble. It's good to be around other like-minded individuals. So that was the Cliff Notes version. There's a lot of little stuff in there, but those were my notes from my webinar with Dan Meadors. Go ahead and download the Quick Start Wholesale Guide at gum.co/WSGuide. That's gum.co/WSGuide. And you can also join my Deal Diva group. My name is Barbara Drazga. I'm called the Deal Diva in auction circles. So I created a group called facebook.com/group/Deal Diva, Deal Diva Barbara. And go ahead and join that. And I'm going to post my little Cliff Notes video and the PDF version up so you can download it and add your own thoughts. Talk to you soon. Thanks for coming, guys. And sorry about the record button.